welcome back to Building the Boys. It's time for our weekly catch-up. Things have gone a bit turbo here at Building the Boys Towers over the past few days, so unfortunately, I've not had time to edit the Disney Doll's House video, so I've got 3 of those coming up. Those will be on the channel tomorrow. I'm going to edit them tonight. I'll upload them in the morning or in the afternoon, but they will be on the channel tomorrow. But things have gone a bit mad at this, so it's been pretty full on the past few days. In personal news, you can see the Disney Doll's House is there at the moment, but what used to be there was our little mascot, Gozer, who has sadly gone to the big gerbil ball in the sky. He was part of a pair, so originally we had Zool and Gozer. This was them. Now, we got those in the February of 2020, so just before COVID and the pandemic turned the whole world nuts. So they were like our lockdown pets. So we literally got them. It was about 2 weeks before all that kicked off. And Zool passed away in 2021. He didn't live very long at all. Now, before you Zool was kind of hardcore, man, right? So they used to live in a cage together. And they were lovely with each other, really nice, until about 3 months before Zool died. Zool just went nuts, and he would beat the crap out of Gozer regularly. So Gozer took like some nasty wounds, and we had to separate them. So even though their cages were together, and they'd still be quite sweet to each other through the bars, if you put them together, he'd try and kill him. So Gozer got his ass kicked regular. We split them up, and then Gozer lived on for another 2. I mean, Gozer was old as gerbils go. Gozer was nearly 4, which is a bloody good innings for a gerbil. But it upset Jack quite a lot. Jack is not great with any kind of bereavement or loss of any kind, and it really upset him. But it is what it is. They're gone now. So Gozer was living in here because our cat Ecto decided he wanted to eat him. So because Ecto's not allowed in here, Gozer took up residence in here. And I miss him. When I'd be sitting here building models, I'd hear all of a sudden the little squeaking, and he'd be over there and he'd be at the bars. I miss him, I do. But he's gone to the big old gerbil ball in the sky. Modelling news. So I received an email today, which I'm sure a lot of you have received an email. If you haven't, go and have a look at your emails because it'll be in there. If you are a subscriber of Hachette's Build the Tumblr. Now, it's not, you're not getting your model or anything like that. It's quite something and nothing news. It's a bit weird. So we're due to get the final free gift in the next shipment, and that is the little Tumbler. Now, you're still getting it, but this is where it gets weird. Like, we ain't got the boxes for it. So the case that was supposed to be inside it, they ain't got them. So this is so odd. Just don't send it. That's my thing. I said, well, just don't send the bloody thing then. Instead, what they've done is they said, we're sending you the Tumbler, but we ain't sending you the box. And it's like, okay, but we are going to send you the case. We're going to send it in September. Now, this is where it gets weird. They then send a link to an unlisted YouTube video showing the factory where these things are put together, explain to you how you're going to put yours together. So you have to screw it to the base and then put the lid on. That's a lot of messing about, right? But it is what it is. I'm like, okay, I don't really care, to be honest with you. But so what's going to happen is when your tumblers turn up, which is literally any day now the tumbler's due to arrive, when that turns up, you're going to have a loose little tumbler inside there, which you're going to have to screw to the base yourself. It's a bit weird, but yeah, it's not a big deal, is it? It just isn't a big deal. It'll be interesting if it's an Eaglemoss one. So Eaglemoss did a Batmobile collection when they were still a thing, and they milked that, right? Because you're thinking, how many Batmobiles are there? Turns out, hundreds. So they did so many Batmobiles, it was unreal. They did like the 66, the 89, the 95, the 97, they just kept going, and it was, but then they do all the ones in the comics and the animated series and the video games, and then they started doing Joker's car and the Beatles car and someone else's car, and it was nuts. The reason why I know this is because I remember the collection itself doing the rounds, but if you were a subscriber of Z-Boxes by Zavi, when that sort of lost its way, so Z-Box was really good in the beginning. You get a lot of exclusive things and cool t-shirts, things like that. Toward the end, it was crap. And it would just be, here's a generic t-shirt we've got too much stock of. And then they'd throw in, typically, a Star Trek graphic novel, a Star Trek ship from Eaglemoss or a Batmobile. So I ended up with a ton of these Batmobiles. So I've got quite a lot of them. I've got the Batwing. I've got loads of these Batmobiles. They just kept coming in these Z boxes. I've got loads of Star Trek graphic novels that I don't want because I've never opened this in the cellophane. I didn't want them, but I'd get the same one 3 or 4 times. And the same with the Star Trek ships. Now, the Star Trek ships are coming back. Another company has taken that over and they're doing them. And I'm sure there is a collector base for them. But they were bargain bin, man. I mean, for the longest time, they almost did too many of those. If you're a Star Trek collector, then you're going to be into them. But they started going so random with these ships, and that's what will come in Z-boxes. You get these things that go, what even is this? And it would be from some obscure episode of one of the shows that no one really gives a damn about these ships. But they're doing them. They're doing more now. I suppose with new Star Trek shows, I'm not a Star Trek guy. With new Star Trek shows, there's going to be new Star Trek ships. It makes sense that they're going to do ones, and I'm sure there were ones they never did. I ain't a Star Trek guy, so I'm not the one to tell you all about him. Kev the Nexus has got kind of the lowdown on the Star Trek ships, so you can check out his video. He's a Star Trek guy. I ain't a Star Trek guy, so I mean, I don't know my Romulans from my Cybermen. So I don't know. So yeah, it's that. So if you're into them, then they're coming back, and I'm sure there is a big community of them. But I think those were partly responsible for Eaglemoss's downfall because they had such an excess of stock of those that at one point you could buy like 10 of them from Zavi for, I think it was $8.99, and they'd send you 10 of those ships for $8.99. They also did it with the Marvel figurines. They ran that way too long, and it was supposed to be 60 issues, which went to 80, which went to 100, which went to 150. I think it was about 240 in the end they did. And they were doing obscure characters, and you're thinking, okay, well, anybody who matters you've done. And they end up with this massive surplus stock. And that's kind of the problem with doing these collections. They had a lot of these collections that just didn't really take. They did a WWE one, where it was figurines the WWE wrestlers. Now, I can tell you, because I know my NDA's expired, I did something with WWE about 4 years ago and wouldn't touch it. So I spoke to the marketing people at WWE about licensing the characters and whatnot and the logos. And the problem you've got is it's not so bad now. Now it's not so bad. I think there's a different management there. But it used to be, you couldn't guarantee that these people would still be on the roster by the time your product came out. So you could be doing a product of a wrestler who, it takes 6 to 12 months to develop a product. By the time the product's released, they fired the wrestler. So you've got kind of an out there. So we couldn't do it. So we were looking at ones where there were certain ones where you knew was safe. Like if you did anything with John Cena on it, it was safe. The Rock was safe. Undertaker was safe. But if you did any of the kind of newer roster, you had no guarantee. And that was the problem they did with these figurines. They're releasing figurines of characters that all of a sudden this guy's posted something a little bit fruity on Twitter and they can't release that figure because he's disgraced, or someone's been let go from the company, or someone's likeness. So again, you can now get these WWE Eaglemoss figurines in home bargains for like $2.99 because no one wants them. They're in these enormous oversized packaging. That was the other thing. I don't know what Eaglemoss were thinking. The packaging for some of these figurines is humongous for a tiny, tiny figure inside it. It's such a weird thing. But that was part of their downfall. So I'm hoping whoever took over these Star Trek models doesn't fall into that same trap. And let's just keep churning these out, and ended up the Nexus of stock and them going defunct themselves, But we'll see. So, I mean, the Tumblr's due to arrive any day now. We'll see if it is the Eaglemoss Tumbler. I think it is. It bloody well looks like it. In all the pictures Hachette gave us of this free gift, it looks like the Eaglemoss Tumbler. So we'll find out when it gets here. It might not say Eaglemoss on it, but it definitely bloody looks like it. I'm sure there's a surplus of them somewhere. In other news, Titanic. So Hachette have updated their website, so we know what's coming next. Stick it on, before we get to Titanic, we stick with the Tumbler. So I know what the next 6 of Tumblr are going to be. So we know that the next 4 I'm going to be building are the passenger seats. So 23, 4, 5, and 6, I think it is. Build the passenger seat. 27 and 28 are the left wall of the cockpit and the right wall of the cockpit. And we know that 29 builds the cage. So the roll cage that's going to go inside there, we start building. We add ball bearings to it. What for? I don't know, but we're adding ball bearings to a cage. So I know in 29 we won't get that until 6 weeks from now. Is the cage. We start building the roll cage. So it sounds like we're going to start building frame and chassis for the actual vehicle. So that'll be good. But we've got a lot of chair to get through. So again, it's a repeat of the last 4. We're repeating them again and building a chair, which is why a lot of people are getting pissed off with it. But look, people, this is the way it is. It's got 2 chairs. Make your peace with it. That's the way it is. It's also got 6 wheels. So whether you like it or not, we're going to build the same wheel 4 times for the back of the car. That's the way it is. So let's come to peace with it. It's going to look good at the end. All those sexy bits you want, you're going to get. It's just slow beginnings. It's just slow beginnings is the way it is. I wouldn't say it's Eddie Stobart, Hachette slow, but it's slow. But we'll get there. It'll be fine. It's the nature of the beast. Titanic has been updated as well. So I know what we've got coming next from Titanic. So the next 4 from Titanic is all hull. That's all it is. We are building hull. That's it. Which sounds great, and it is great because we definitely need to start building the hull of the Titanic. That has to happen because we need someone to start putting these decks on. However, that means it's going to be very low work to do. I mean, it's going to be to install a piece of hull is typically 4 screws. So it's going to be done, done. That's going to be it. So as nice as it have to have all this hull, it's not going to be labour intensive in the slightest. It's going to be relatively simple. With the Disney Doll's House. So by the time these go up on the channel, we've started. You can kind of see here. That's Peter Pan's room on the 3rd floor there. That's Peter Pan's room on the 3rd floor. So we started that and we've built quite a lot of that now. So we are on the 3rd floor. Remarkably, we don't spend that much time on the 3rd floor. I think it's only about 3 months total. And the structure of the house is built. And then we are moving on to the outside for a long time of laying tiles on the roof and everything. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. But it is what it is. There is something coming up as well on one of those Disney ones. So if you would like to, you would have seen I hide messages inside my models. So every model that I build, I hide a message inside it. And I do mean every model. So even if I'm building a book nook, I've got a book nook I can show you. So even if I'm building a book nook, I will find a piece that cannot be seen with the naked eye and I will write a message on it. Then it goes in there and I know it's there. No one else does. No one else will ever see it, but it's something I do. Trademark, if you will. That's what I do. I love this book nook as well, by the way. If you've never seen this one, there is a video on the channel of this one. This was the Fallen Secure, but look how that river lights up. This thing was gorgeous, man. But yeah, so I hide messages inside models. So inside Iron Man, in his chest, is a little note, and it's got a link to the YouTube channel. Written down on there so people can go and see that Iron Man being built. Because I don't know where he's going to end up. I mean, he might end up in landfill one day or 50, 60 years from now when, you know, I was shuffled off this mortal coil. Somebody else might crack him open one day, find this site and see me building it. With this little message in there that when we built him and blah, 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 and then it goes in there and it gets hidden. So that's inside him. I've done it with Rootmaster. I did it with the Ecto. So inside Ecto, the kids, we all put our name on it. We wrote the date that we were building it. And that's inside the gearbox. In the Disney Doll's House, so in the bay window, there was a section, put a message in there, quite a long message in there, but I'm giving all of you the opportunity to put your own messages into my Doll's House. So if you watch, I want to say it's episode 80. If you watch that one, it'll explain how. So if you want your name or a message in my Doll's House, you've got to be quick because there's a limited amount of space. Watch that video when it's up. And explain how, and you can, because I'd like to. I've thought we've built this together, you know, so be part of it. It's fun, and it just personalizes your models. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's an idea I got from friends from Texas who did something when I was over there, and I always was kind of enamored with it, and it's something we can't do in the UK, but we can definitely do with this little wooden house here. So check that out. What else have we got coming up on the channel? So we did. A set from a company called FO Funhole, who sent me. It's not the best name in the world, Funhole. I'll give you that, but it's Funhole, WHOLE, Funhole, or FO is the company's called. They contacted us and asked us if we'd like to build something, and I said yes. And the reason why is because it's the sort of thing we build. It's like a Lego set, but it lights up and it's beautiful. Now the reason why I said yes to them and I've said no to a lot of others is because that was it. There was no further there was no further motive. There was nothing. It was just a case of, we'd like to send you this. Do you want to review it? Yeah. There was no, you have to say it's good. You have to say this is wonderful. You have to promote this. Nothing. Just if we just like your honest feedback on it. We'll send you this. Tell us what you think. That was it. What a wonderful thing, because I've had other ones. I've had, best what I could say about, I don't care. I don't care if they watch this and get angry about it. I don't care. I had a very famous chicken company contact me, and they wanted me to make a video telling you all how wonderful their brand of chicken is. And there was a list of, I think it was about 15 or 20 words, and I had to use at least 8 of them in a 3-minute video. And these words were like awesome, amazing, the best. And I'm like, I ain't doing that. And I thought, there's literally no way. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And it was for cash money. So it was like, right, we're going to give you cash, and in exchange, you're going to tell everybody who watches your channel how wonderful this chicken is. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. That's not what this is about. So, but the difference in the other one I did was, well, that is something I'd buy. That's something I'd build. It's something that I know people who watch the channel would buy and build. So yeah, is it any good? Let's have a look. That's different, right? I've not been paid any money. I've not been asked to say anything. But the chicken people, yeah, no, you tell everyone this is wonderful, whether you like it or not. You have to use these at least 8 of these words. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, nah, you're all right. You're all right. We'll give you money. I'm like, nah, you're all right. And it's hard. I'll admit it's hard, because I'm thinking, well, goddamn, I could take that money and I could buy, a full kit of something. But I don't want to. As I've said, I don't want this to be work. I never want this to be work. I just don't. Work is work. And that's part of the reason why it's such a busy week. This is what I do for fun. This is what I do as a hobby. This is what I do to talk to all of you. I'm not going to violate that trust by hawking crap that I don't particularly like for cash to all of you. I just think if someone else wants to do that, that's their choice. But as I've said before, I was offered extension leads, light bulbs, chicken, at one point, soft drinks, where they were saying, oh no, just keep drinking it with a label face. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And it's like, no, this is my channel. It's on my terms. I'm not doing any of that crap. So I'm not knocking anyone who wants to do that, but it's not for me, man. It's not for me. This is our hobby, man. This is, it is what it is. If it was something I genuinely wanted, and it was like, well, just send it, yeah, you can tell people what you think. Absolutely. But no, I'm not going to sit here and hawk a bloody extension lead to you. What can you say about it? I've mentioned this before. What can you say about an extension lead? Nothing, right? It's like, do you like electricity? Do you need more plug socket? No, come on. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So coming up, Tumblr is the next one up. So Tumblr will be coming this week, it should be. Then I think we've got a dead week. I don't think we've got anything coming up the week after that. But then after that, everything turns up again. So we go Titanic, we go Infinity Gauntlet, and it all Ecto 1, and it all goes on and on and on. Ecto 1 cases. So I have spoken to my case guy yesterday, and hopefully my case is going to be complete this week. So it'll be ready for Ecto 1 when it's finished, which is going to be bloody wonderful. That's fantastic timing. I'm really happy about that. I will show it you when I get details, because I've said to him, well, how do you want to do this? Do you want, I'm happy to tell people about your cases. And as I said, I'm not being paid to do that. This is someone I know, and I'm like, if I can help you out, I'll help you out. But I've said to them, a lot of people want cases. They do, not just for Ecto, for everything. And they've said that they can do cases for everything. No matter what I've gone to them with and said, can you do a case for this? They've said, yes. Everything. So that's the Titanic, the Terminator, the Alien, the Gauntlet, all of it. They can do a case for that. Even the latest one from Agora, the DB5, they said, you can do a case for DB5 if you want a case for DB5. So we can put the Bond logo on it, put the No Time to Die logo on it, whatever you want. We can light it up. They can do it. But I've asked him, well, how do you want to do it? So it's whether or not it's going to be a link to their website or if it's going to be whatever. But we will have that. So once I've got mine, I'll show it, yes. I'm not just full of it. It is beautiful. I'll show you the case. You can see it for yourself. You can contact them and we'll have pricing and whatnot. At the moment, I can't tell you what the pricing is going to be. I know what I'm paying for mine, but it won't be what you're paying for yours. If anything, you're probably going to be paying less than what I paid, because once the prototype essentially is done, they've got all the measurements and whatnot. So I've probably overpaid them, but it's fine. It's what I want. It's what I need. So once I've got that, I'll let you know exactly what it is. Coming up on the channel, We do have, finally, because I've got my Lost Boys clock up. We will have our movie talk about the Lost Boys. I did it ages ago. I just have not uploaded it, but I need to. So that'll be coming up. We are also very close to having the Your Work video, because I've received a lot of images of your work, your collections, your everything. So if you've got a collection of something and you want to share it and you want to say, this is what I'm into, this is what I'm about, send it in, man, and we'll share it as well, because I've had some great ones. I've had some Disney collections sent in, I've had some Star Wars collections sent in, I've had amazing Titanic collections sent in, but not just that as well, also modifications. The modifications people have been doing to their models, some really cool, clever things, some fantastic color schemes, some funny ones. Send them in. If you want to be part of that, send them in, and the more we get, the more we can go through and we can show everyone your work. You can remain anonymous, or we can say, this is this guy from there, this is what he did, whatever you want. But if you want it to be seen, send it in. And if you're happy for it to be shared, say happy to share, and you send those to buildingtheboys@outlook.com, and we will sort those out and get them on the channel. It'd be good. It'd be really good. So we will have Tumblr, then it's a quiet week, and then we've got everything coming up. But there's something I really want to tell you, but I can't. No. There's good stuff coming, put it that way. There's good stuff coming from our favourite model companies. But until I've seen it, because I know what it'll be. I'll go, this is coming, and it doesn't. So we'll see. I think it's like 99% certain it's going to happen, but we'll see. A lot of questions came through about the Millennium Falcon that I mentioned, about do you have to paint it? No, you don't have to paint the Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon comes as is. So it's just like any other part where you don't have to paint the Millennium Falcon. You can. So if you want to paint the Millennium Falcon, if you want to put a wash on it, or you want to make it look good, you can. That's up to you. It's in your wheelhouse. But if you build it stock, and every artwork I build on my channel, I build stock. If you build it stock, you'll still have a very impressive bloody Millennium Falcon. You really will. It still looks good stock. It's not like if you don't paint it, it looks terrible. That's not the case. It still looks really good if you build it stock. But if you want to give it a bit of a more weathered look and a bit of battle damage, well, you can do that, you know. But yeah, the reason why I build everything stock on my channel, because people ask me all the time, do you mod? Yes, I do mod, but not when I'm building it for the channel. If I'm building it for the channel, I'm building it in a way that every single person that's accessing the channel can follow along. So it's not a case of me going, okay, well, then we're going to do a wash on this one, or just grab your Dremel, or just grab it. I'm not going to do that, because I want everybody to be able to access this without feeling overwhelmed, and we should do that more often. I think with hobbies as well, it tends to be, where do you begin? So there are probably people out there that want to build one of these models along with us, but are a little intimidated by it. And if the first video you come across is some guy telling you, now modify this and change that and paint this and do that, and using terms you've never bloody heard of, that scares people away from our hobby. The worst incident of that for me was comic books. So I've collected comic books my whole life, and I was never that dick at the comic store. And I'm sorry, I am one of you. So before we go dicks at the comic store, yeah, I'm one of you, but I was never that dick. And I always used to stop the guy that was acting like a dick in a comic store. You'd have someone come in that had just seen a Marvel movie. They might have just seen Iron Man for the first time, and they thought, I quite fancy reading up on Man. And they'd go in and they'd say something like, where's the best place to start? And you'd have some guy go, this is the best place to start. I don't know, maybe you go to kids' books. I'm like, oh, dude, don't be a dick. This is someone that's interested in our world. Let's help them out. Let's point towards Demon in a Bottle. Let's help them out. You know, let's go, well, you know, you can go for the masterworks, or if you plan, that's what we could do, instead of being dicks about it. So, you know, you just don't scoff at people that come in, and it's the same with modelling. So someone's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, man, well, let us show you. And most of us are like that. Most of us are like, well, we'll show you, man. We'll talk you through it. It's cool. You can go at your own pace. That's the way it should be. Welcome people in, because the more of us there are, you know, the more resource we've got. It's a beautiful thing. So that's why I don't mod on the channel. I do mod, right? So I'm not going to lie to you. I definitely mod. I just don't mod on the channel. There's so much I want to do to that doll's house. It's ridiculous, the amount of stuff I want to modify in that doll's house. And there is something in Peter Pan's room that I didn't know was there until I started putting these walls in, and it's piqued my curiosity, and I'm thinking, there's something I can do in that room. There's an effect I can add to that room, and I'm gonna. And once it's built and it's all done properly, I will do separate videos of modifying your Disney Doll's house and little things you can do to it after the thing's built. But I think we can do something really, really, really cool in Peter Pan's room, and I'm looking forward to doing that. That's about all from me. If you haven't yet, please remember to both like and subscribe. Helps the channel massively. And as I said before, we've crossed the 2,000 barrier now. It's insane. And we thank all of you for supporting us. You can contact us at buildingtheboys@outlook.com, which will send us pictures of your work. You can talk to us about anything you want. And we will get back to you. We always get back to you. It might take a couple of days because as I said, things are a bit nuts at Building the Boys Towers at the moment, but we will get back to you. If you don't want to do the email route, you can pop a comment in the section down below. Again, we will get back to you. It might not be immediate. It used to be immediate, but now there's a lot more comments and emails. So we will get back to you. I promise you we'll get back to you. And if I haven't got back to you, after a few days, message me, go, hey, you said you get back to me, and I will get back to you. And as I said, please remember to like and subscribe. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And we will see you very, very soon for more from Building the Boys. Until then, take care.